A very good evening to you. If you're watching us right now, it means you've survived stage 6 load shedding. Congratulations to you. And thank you so much for making SportAt10 the most popular sport lifestyle show in the country. I am Uxoli Zondo, and can you believe it? It is almost the end of Youth Month, and we are going to be wrapping up this incredible month in fine style. Of course, over the next 60 minutes, we are going to be bringing you great news in terms of sporting news and interviews. We're also going to be giving you that dash of humor that you always look forward to, and at the end of the show, an electric performance, just to make sure that we make SportAt10 the show that you really want it to be. We're always coming to you live and direct from our Auckland Park studios right here in Johannesburg. The physical bench and the virtual bench. I'll start off with our resident comedian, Tips Shampunais. It's always good to see you. Today you are rocking black.
Yes. I'm representing the state that we are in as a country, which is load shedding. So I'm dressed for load shedding. I heard I was happy that we moved only to stage 6. Because stage 8, if you light the candle, so
they just blow it out.
Yeah, they just yeah. But hey, I'm happy to be here. This is SportAt10 people. Relaxing. We have a warm bench. We have you wearing pink in June.
Hey, I got very pink. I'm also happy for now masks are down. It's almost like we're slowly, getting to normalcy once again as a country. I am so excited to have the track twins in studio. You are living the American dream, Utulisile and of course Utobila. How are you guys doing?
We are good, thanks. How are you?
Very good. So you are identical twins.
Yeah.
And now, how do we know ubani Utobile, ubani Tulisile?
It's obvious now. It's obvious. Okay, Tulisile has piercings, nose piercings.
Yes. Okay.
And Tobile doesn't have piercings at this point.
All right. Okay, so we want to hear everything about this American dream that you're living, from Middelburg, Mpumalanga, and now in the US. It truly is a phenomenal story. And that's why we want to have young people on the show, to show us that it is really possible to live this international dream. And just after the track twins, of course, is Burgundy Reigns. You are going to be giving us an electric performance, a female rapper. Why this genre, Burgundy Reigns?
Well, hi, Toli. Hi, everyone. I had a very bad stuttering problem growing up. That's how the rap was introduced.
Wow.
So, yes, my dad decided after, teachers called him in and everything. So he decided, no, you know what? He had a friend that introduced him to Eminem. Back then, he didn't know who Eminem was. Yeah. So he just decided, no, okay, he's just going to give me the CD, and then from there, I just started listening to it, started reciting that, and then my speech came.
Yeah. I mean, that is phenomenal. From having a speech problem to then being a phenomenal rapper. Yeah. Okay, that is incredible. Tobile, when you listen to something like that, you hear a story of Umuntu that started off having the speech problem and then now venturing into music. It's almost like an entire 360.
Exactly. It's crazy. It's mind-blowing. Actually, I would be like, how do you do that? Because that's
no idea
it takes
either.
time,
It
right?
just happened.
It takes time.
It took me 6 months.
Through Eminem?
Wow.
Yes.
A whole Eminem?
And I chose, there was relapse and recovery at that time. And I chose recovery for some weird reason.
Yes, go
and then I just...
Unbelievable. That is really incredible. We are going to be delving into that story a little bit later on. And of course, you're going to be performing for us. And the name of the track is?
Knife to a Gunfight.
Knife to a Gunfight. I love that. And then just next to Burgundy Reigns, Okanyi Sochwaku, of course, he is the Sport24 senior sport journalist and, of course, SABC sport analyst and commentator. It's so good to see you. At third time around at SportAt10, you really love the show, don't you?
Mandibulise kuthiwa kaloku kumlando kokuqala nokwesibili nokwesithathu ndimnandi yaphindwa ke.
Into emnandi yaphindwa.
Xa kunjalo njengoba ke nabegqiba ukutsho kuBhekude kuba wanengxaki wayinayo ke ekhuleni uba ayithinditha. Ngesixhosa kuthiwa kaloku akhona engalungi xa sekufuneka ilungisiwe. Ulithathile ke ithuba ke lozilungisa ke uBhekude so sawuvuya ke xa isesiva ke nje beka nje line ezimbalwa nepani simamela ubumnandi bomculo wakhe.
Yeah, Khanyisa. And he's obviously going to be talking about the squad announcement in terms of the Springboks. You will remember that they are playing against the Welsh this Saturday at the Loftus Versfeld Stadium. It is a sold-out affair. So Khanyisa is going to be breaking down the squad announcement, taking a look at what we can expect from the Welsh. But of course, in terms of news on this show, we bring you the biggest. And before we actually get to that, we have a virtual bench. There is absolutely no way that I could forget Velelem Grief. He is joining us all the way from Centurion. And in terms of Velelem, he is the CEO of Africa Genesis Archery Federation. Thank you so much for making time for us. You were just saying that you're able to join us today because you've got backup in terms of a generator. So that's why you're live from Centurion right now.
Good evening, Claudia. That is right, yes.
Oh, that's brilliant. We are going to be chatting about archery, you know, the development of the sport in the country. There is a tournament that's happening. A couple of nations are going to be competing in that tournament. It is going to be a fascinating conversation straight after the ad break. But before we get to that, we always bring you the top news that are happening in and around the country. And we'll start things off with a cricket news where the captain, Themba Bavuma, has been ruled out. Now, you will remember that he had suffered an elbow injury, so his recovery time is going to be about 8 weeks. So he is now out of the squad for the multi-format series against England, which starts on the 19th of July till the 12th of September. This means that Keshav Maharaj and David Miller will now lead the ODI and T20 teams respectively. We also are aware that Ukagiso Rabada will be rested for the ODI series as part of his workload management. You know, it really is so disappointing to hear the news of Themba not going to feature in the United Kingdom against England.
It is the second major series that is missing. If you remember that he'd missed the West Indies series just last year when they actually went there. They didn't play in the Test series but featured in the ODI series, one in the T20 series. One would have loved to have seen him actually play the entire series, that be the short format, the longer format. Remember that Obai is also under slight pressure that he's scoring runs but not converting. And when one looks at how England have been playing the cricket against New Zealand, in 3 consecutive Test matches, they chased down 4th innings totals of 270 plus. I mean, if you looked at how they won in Trent and you look at how they won in Headingley, I mean, what Johnny Bairstow did in those innings where literally they turned a Test match, which is a game that needs to be stretched across 15 sessions in 5 days, they turned it literally into a limited overs match. So one would have loved to see how South Africa were going to attempt, because when you look at South Africa's medal order, Themba is the most experienced of those players, number one. And he's the one guy who's able to slow a game down, which is something that New Zealand were not able to do. But again, whereas Themba's now out, it does offer an opportunity for someone else to stake a claim in his absence. But be that as it may, selection policy states that so whoever performs may put someone else under pressure. Aiden Markram during the South African summer. So there were changes made for the New Zealand series that worked out for the Proteas through the Bangladesh series. But it is England under Brendan McCallum and Ben Stokes, baseball, Jens Bukwai, England so far.
Oh, it is really going to be something else. And of course, in General Bukhanyisa Asho, you know, also good news in terms of the 21-year-old Ukherel Kutsia, who's now received his maiden call-up in terms of the Proteas. And the news that really shocked us, we were all disappointed to hear that Serena Williams has now been knocked out of the Wimbledon. You will remember that Williams was out for a year after suffering that injury at Wimbledon last season. And of course, she was playing that doubles championship in Eastbourne, but I guess just not enough as, of course, she went down to Harmony Tan from France, and of course, she was unseeded. Ngaskati abuzwa about whether or not this would be the last singles match. She says she cannot really respond to that. You know, she really is hoping that she'll take part in the US Open. Valelam, I'm going to come to you for this one. You know, we're so disappointed in terms of Serena Williams being out, first round exit, but of course hoping that she'll make a return for the US Open.
Yeah, that's very disappointing. disappointing, but she's a phenomenal athlete. And I think she did try her best. She was just not up to standard with the injury to her. But I believe in the athlete and the person she is, she will come back. I believe that she will work hard and come back. She's a very good example for our youth and a mentor on how to approach the sport and how to introduce yourself to sport.
Absolutely. Of course, in terms of Serena Williams, 40 years old, and she is trying to equal that record set by Margaret Court, 24 Grand Slams. She's just one shy, so hoping that the US Open will prove better for her. Now, in terms of Formula One, you know, we actually hate it as a country, as a continent, as the world, when we have to talk about racism in the sport and racial slurs that are being handed to people. So in terms of Lewis Hamilton, what we do know is that the three-time world champion, Nelson Piquet, who had won in 1981, 83, and 86, used racially abusive language about Lewis Hamilton, talking about the British Grand Prix between him and Max Verstappen. And Lewis Hamilton has said that, you know, these are archaic mindsets that need to change. And in terms of the word that he used, shampunizer, it's that N-word, you know, even though it was in Portuguese. But these are some of the stories that we never want to hear about in the sport, and we're also so happy that Formula One has spoken against it.
I think especially with South Africa, I'm just going to put it here to say, with our democracy and our history with racism, right now, with the way racism has been stopped, like there's so many campaigns against racism. Right now, if you're doing anything racist, it's deliberate. You can't tell me it's a mistake because it's happening all the time. So please, I'm talking to my fellow South Africans here. We need to curb things from here at home to say, let's stop, guys. This thing is becoming like, every time you see it, you just get depressed because it's taking us back and we're trying to move forward. So let sports be sports and stop doing all these other things. Racism, no, every day.
Oh, absolutely. And also what's so interesting about Nelson Piquet is that his daughter, Kelly, is in fact dating Max Verstappen. So make with that information what you will. But of course, you know, racial abuse is something that cannot be condoned. But to make things a little lighter, you know, we have to send through our congratulations to referee Akona Magalima. She will, of course, be officiating at the 2022 Africa Women Cup of Nations. This young lady from the Eastern Cape is going to be making sure that she's officiating on a continental tournament that is taking place from this Saturday. She has also made the short list of match officials for the 2022 FIFA Women's Cup and has been hard at training during the CAF and FIFA workshops throughout the year. So you will remember that the first match will be played on Saturday between hosts Morocco and Burkina Faso. It will be broadcast live on SABC Sport. Amawele, I need to come to you about this. We look at this, we see Akona Magalima doing this, and I'm sure you are just brimming with pride to hear that she will be officiating at the Women's AFCON.
Well, I must say, Guti, I am really proud of her.
Yeah.
Like for a woman of color to have this huge accomplishment, it's rare. For Yena, I know Guti, it's something huge, and Uzopuma Aingale as representative, and I know they will bring that win home.
I love it.
Yes. I would add on that and say that we are super proud because we as the youth, seeing her at this age, we are inspired, I don't want to lie, because you are out there saying, if this young black lady can do this, that means I can reach that goal, right?
Yes.
So she must go out there, do whatever that she must, and then she must know that we are proud.
Oh, I love that, because representation matters, just like the Amantuns have said. You know, the fact that we can see Magalima on that continental stage says to young girls from the Eastern Cape, from wherever in the country, that you as well can do that. So go out there, make us proud. And also, Banyana, 5 times runners-up at the Women's AFCON this time around. We're looking for a gold medal, no pressure. Do well against Nigeria in your opening match on Monday. But of course, this is the time of the show that I get so excited because our resident comedian, Oshampunizer, is here. You know, just give him a warm round of applause. There we go.
Yeah, I'm a little bit down today. The owner of Amazulu FC, Brasandile Zungu, You know, yeah, I got married last weekend. And
it was a beautiful wedding.
Yeah,
I
but
saw that.
yeah, you can't tell it's beautiful. We didn't get an invite. So, like, didn't invite us. Nothing. Not even an excuse. Now, you know, you need to create an excuse. Champonizer, we didn't call you over. Everything was in Zulu, and then you wouldn't understand. Nothing. He just had his wedding, and then it's fine. But you know what? It's fine that the Zungu, do you, Baba? It was Dr. Kumalo's birthday, and then tomorrow is my birthday. The following day is Steve Kompela's birthday. He's already bought me a dictionary and sent me that sugar with a message. He who loves first does what? Like, we are fine, Joe. We are fine. We are going to have our own party. Me, Dr. Kumalo, Judith Puma today, me tomorrow, Steve Kompela on the 1st of July. So, see right. Shout out to all Afrikaans people in the country. Thank you very much, Afrikaans people, for giving us a guy called Heki Butler. You know Heki Butler?
Yes.
Heki Butler is a boxer.
Yeah.
He's this short, and yeah, he was fighting there. So Mexican boxers have been abusing black boxers in South Africa for years. They started with Dingan Tobela here and brought Tony Lopez, Atrapa Dingan Tobela. Welcome Nita Atla, Babita Jimenez, Amatrap, and then Heki Butler yesterday woke up and said, you know what, give me Biltong and Felskune, I'm going.
Not Felskune.
Yeah, he just decided, like, yeah, I get Khandak, Alma Donor. He went there in Mexico and beat up a Mexican boxer in Mexico, first of its kind. Thank you very much, Heki Butler. You are a hero. I even have an Afrikaans name for you as a superhero. You can, everyone come to social media and suggest names. But for me, Heki Butler, your name as a superhero, you're going to be Super Skepsel. So that's what? Because it's the most Afrikaans name that you can have anyway. How Skepsel? But this one's not just any Skepsel. It's a super Skepsel. Serena Williams, I saw her lose yesterday. Apere ke bone bothata ke outfit na pere moto isi o mombe ana like ntwe ngwe ana dangari engwe ke sa yitsing, and then she lost. But you see, Serena, I knew tennis is a sport that's got, you need like muscle memory. So you can't just leave tennis for 1 year and come. As Mabiano, you can live for 15 years and go to Ukraine and come back and look at everyone and say, okay, 22 million rand flag. Yapa nyapa, yapa nyapa, yapa nyapa. Then it's a hit because it's Amapiano, and then you find, I was going to talk about a lot of things, but I was supposed to go to Durban July this coming weekend. I can't go. My horse ran away. You know I have a horse, Mr.
Oh.
Yeah, it ran away. It's a gelding. I bought it, Kolesutu.
Do you have a horse or pere? Because there's a difference.
Once across a border, it can be a horse. So, I bought it, Kolesutu. Gifilen da domunski basa mosala, amfa pere, because nor eraorn tate musal. So, I bought it there. Lastly, but Marugmo Gallants are the only team that can say, I'm a beast. Because bareka di player as a maina bonko mo motaung.
Mina, the song that's still ringing in my head is Yapa Nyapa, 22 million. I love it. You know, someone please make sure that we're dancing to that song come festive season. Well, let's take a quick ad break. When we do return, we talk all things archery with Willem Makrief.
Mense as jy nou nog nie weet nie, né? Jy kyk Fundies.
As jy oor 'n wye algemene kennis beskik, is Fundies net die program vir jou. Daar is baie kontant op die spel. Om 'n audisie af te lê, stuur 'n e-pos aan sabcfundies@gmail.com. Dis sabcfundies@gmail.com. Jy hoef nie net 'n leenstoel fundie vir die TV te wees nie. Kom wys gerus jou slag in die ateljee.
Please note that the official date for analog television switch-off is imminent. If you're still watching television through an aerial, please take the following steps to continue watching your favorite programs on the SABC. Buy a digital tuner for your analog TV set and get connected. Buy any digital television decoder, either satellite or digital terrestrial, and get connected. Buy a smart television and connect through an aerial. If you can't afford any of the above, please contact your nearest post office for more information on how to connect. For more information, please WhatsApp 0600 625 458 or call 0860 736 832.
This month on our Doggy Slot, we take a look at the highs and lows of being an Olympian in the weight of gold.
How many golds do you have? Because if you're silver, you're not making money. If you're bronze, you're not making money. You didn't medal? I don't even know your name, pal.
I think it's probably safe to say that a good 80%, maybe more, goes through some kind of post-Olympic depression.
It's time to float like a butterfly and sting like a bee in Muhammad Ali, the greatest.
Move like a butterfly, sting like a bee. I didn't stop the fight. The doctor said the doctor. Oh, I'm so pretty. I shook up the world. I told you all that I was the greatest of all time.
Wanna know the key to immortality? Tune in for Bruce Lee, Immortal Dragon.
My last name is Lee, Bruce Lee. There's the punch, there is the breakfast, and then more. Of course, then they use legs. Straight at the groin, all come up.
Open up to our Sports Docky Wednesdays at 9 p.m. on S3.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us on Sport at 10. I am Oli Zondo, and this time around, I'll be joined by the CEO of Africa Genesis Archery Federation, and that is because AGA will be hosting a tournament on the 2nd and the 3rd of July in Kimberley in the Northern Cape. And just to find out more about this is the CEO, of course, of Africa Genesis Archery Federation, Velele Mgrief, who is joining us on Zoom at the moment from Centurion. Thank you once again for your time. Maybe let's just start off by talking about this tournament. What is it all about? What can we expect exactly?
Oh, thank you, Tole. Thank you for the opportunity. Yeah, there's a lot to expect, and it's very exciting, especially the nature and the way it's presented. There will be 4 African countries competing, Botswana, Namibia, South Africa, and Zimbabwe. Each of those countries will have 3 different teams. I'll explain that just now, except for Zimbabwe. Each country will have a junior team, a senior team, and a development team. Archery will be shot. There will be 2 different categories, namely the bullseye, as we call it, or, shooting on the target with circles. And then there will be a 3D category where they shoot at 3D dimensional African animals. And it's going to be shot over 2 days. Each country will be shooting in its own country at a specific place, and everything will be viewed on video, on Zoom, and we will follow each other, one command for all the countries in the different venues, and very social. And this was necessitated because of the COVID restrictions we had, and we couldn't manage the risk of not being able to travel. So we set up this virtual Africa tournament.
Now, of course, we know that South Africa has been champion since 2014. What else do we know about the opponents? Is this going to be an easy run for the South Africans?
Archery is never an easy run. You don't know what your opponents have done the past year. Obviously, we've been the champions. Some years we won by a small margin, and some years we won by a big margin. But you never know what quality of archers entered the arena. It starts from grade 2. Obviously, they don't compete. Most of our archers compete, the junior archers from grade, let's say, 9 and up. And obviously, the adults, that doesn't matter because they are always. If I say that it doesn't matter, I mean it's not restricted by the grades that they are in. So it's very dangerous to say it's going to be an easy run. I believe this year it's not going to be an easy run. And I'm concerned about, especially about Namibia.
All right. And you spoke about the 2 different events in terms of the categories, the bullseye and the 3D event. How are those going to be adjudicated? Maybe just talk us through that process itself.
Okay, we've got the two categories are differently adjudicated. Let's start with the bullseye. each country, each team of each country, in other words, the junior team, as well as the senior team, as well as the development team, they shoot 3 flights. Now, let me explain a flight quickly. In a flight, you have ends that you shoot. There are 8 ends of 5 arrows each, and obviously the maximum count per arrow is 10 points. But the first end at 10 meters does not count. It allows the archer to get the aiming point, because these bows are very simple in that they haven't got sights or peeps or anything. So the archer must shoot instinctively, which we can talk about later, is very advantageous to development of an archer. So at 10 meters, they shoot 3 counting ends. The same with 15, 1 non-counting and 3 counting ends. So that gives you a total of 5 times 3 plus 5 times 3 is give you 60 arrows with a maximum of 300. So they shoot 3 flights at each country shoots 3 flights, each team. Then those flights are used to rank them. They take the total of the scores obtained of all 16 archers per team, and they are ranked 1 to 4. Then they have the knockout. We have the knockout, where the first knockout, the 4th team falls out. Then the next knockout flight, the 3rd team falls out, and they will obviously have bronze. Then you have the grande finale of the last 2 teams, and the winner gets gold, and the other one silver. So that's the bullseye. That's the exciting one.
Okay, all right. And also quite importantly is that you are using the Matthews Genesis bow in terms of archery. The archers are using that. Why is it so important that you go with that bow?
Okay, everyone has to use a Matthews Genesis. That puts all our archers on par. So let's be honest, rich dad, poor dad, there's no favoritism, or there's no way that money can put you an edge above the other archer. So everyone is the same level. But also the simplicity of this bow, although it's a compound bow, it hasn't got a draw length. In other words, you must judge how far you pull the string back with the arrow. Obviously, the further you pull it back, the more energy you have, and you'll have a different placement on the target. And also, it does not have a sight, it does not have a peep. So really, it develops the psychomotor development, the thinking process of our archers.
Yeah.
And that's why you use a simple bow. And also, if they migrate from the AGA archery to any other code of archery, it's easier to migrate because they taught the basics. They were taught the basics of a compound bow with the traditional bow characteristics. So it's easier for our archers, once they leave school, to go to any of the other disciplines like world archery and 3DI and so on. So there are so many. I can talk about an hour just about the advantages of this specific bow.
Yeah, and you know, just before we wrap up, as the CEO, I need to ask about development, you know, in the sport, and just how popular it is in terms of South Africans. What are you doing to making sure that you are bringing in, you know, young learners, as you said, from grade 4 all the way to grade 12, who are from disadvantaged communities, to make sure that they're also accessing the sport that does have some barriers to entry, rather?
Yeah, probably the biggest barrier to entry is the cost of equipment.
Yeah.
But it's not nearly as much as most of the other sports. You know, we were talking about cricket just now. I think to fully equipped batsman, you do the sums. While with archery, you need a bow, and that's 3,500 rand now. You need 6 arrows, that's 120 rand each, and there you go, because you shoot with your school clothes on. But for a school to start with that, you take that per archer times 10 or 20, then it works out 60,000, 70,000 rand. So that's really a barrier for entry. But what we have is we've got, at this stage, 3 mobile units fully equipped. And then we drive out to remote places, to the previously disadvantaged schools, and we present clinics and open days to introduce archery to the schools. And then obviously we help them with processes and fundraising and so on. And sometimes we get money from the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture, which we then plow back into these schools to get them going. We've got success stories of schools. One in Limpopo that I can think now that we started about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And they have archers in the development team already. This specific school has no other sport. They haven't got terrain. They haven't got sports fields. But archery is their main sport. And what's fantastic is our kids need a sport. Doesn't matter what sport.
Our kids definitely need a sport. Thank you so much, Valelam Khrief, of course, the CEO, talking about the exciting tournament that's happening this weekend on the 2nd and the 3rd of July. Northern Cape in Kimberley. Will be catching up with Valelam just to find out the results of that archery tournament. Let's take a quick ad break. Masbuya Eitole. It's all about the track twins from Mpumalanga to the US. They are definitely living the American dream, and you want to hear all about it.
We're at the S3 launch in Johannesburg. The reason that we're doing this is to reach out and to have communication with people, with our producers, with our brands, with the market, to come on board with S3 and begin to support the channel.
S3 is fearless by nature, and to us that means having conversations that South Africans need to have, conversations that are needed to move our country forward. And that's what we're about. It's great content, great audiences. S3, we're opening up.
The estate, we are so excited. We're in the writer's room and we're working on season 3. There are love stories. There's a new family that we're going to introduce. You will have to tune in to see.
What the channel represents today is a reflection of myself, my own growing consciousness, my own awareness around what's around me.
It's definitely a game changer for the local broadcasters.
S3 Open Up is paying homage to the people who are out there conscientizing people about what's going on, socioeconomic issues in the country. So I'm excited about that content.
Being content and enveloped in contentment, that is S3 for me.
When it comes to S3's new tagline, Fearless by Nature, is it's quite provocative. It actually forces South Africans to take on the responsibility to be bold, be brave, be creative, live outside of your comfort zone, and be fearless.
This month on our Doggy Slot, we take a look at the highs and lows of being an Olympian in the weight of gold.
How many golds do you have? Because if you're silver, you're not making money. If you're bronze, you're not making money. You didn't medal? I don't even know your name, pal.
I think it's probably safe to say that a good 80%, maybe more, goes through some kind of post-Olympic depression.
It's time to float like a butterfly and sting like a bee in Muhammad Ali, the greatest.
Butterfly and sting like a bee. I didn't stop the fight. The doctor said, oh, I'm so pretty. I shook up the world. I told you all that I was the greatest of all time.
Wanna know the key to immortality? Tune in for Bruce Lee, Immortal Dragon.
The last name is Lee, Bruce Lee. There's the punch, there is the back fist, and then low. Of course, then they use legs. Straight at the groin, all come up.
Open up to our sports docu Wednesdays at 9 p.m. on S3.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with us on SportAt10. Before the ad break, I promised you that we'd be having the track twins in studio, and they are here in the flesh. They are in South Africa, and you are here because of the summer break. So you are here momentarily. Utulisile Notobile Amon, all the way from Mpumalanga, but right now based in the United States of America. I love saying that. So in terms of you, Tulisile, you broke the outdoor 800-meter record. Utobile ran a 4:22 in the 1500 meters. Maybe let's start about in terms of your journey as an 8-year-old, starting off, you know, this passion for running. When did you know that you are so talented in terms of track?
Well, It started at a very young age. So you know how esikolweni they have like inter-houses and everything like that?
Yes.
So there we were, Tina, 7-year-old. My brother was running. My brother's name is Finya Samon. So he was running, and then, so they were running around the neighborhood esikolweni. You know how we don't have the stadiums and the facilities for it. So they were running Esdratin and everything like that. And then we were like, not just Funukijima, we want to run. And they were like, the teachers were like, no, wait a bit until maybe grade 3, grade 4, you guys will start running by then. And then we're like, but we want to run. So that's how the whole running thing started. So then we started running. So we started running around the age of 8 and then representing at the age of 9 and 10. That's when we started going to nationals. And then
that is incredible, you know. But also a little bit about how you grew up, you know, in Middelburg. You know, tell us about your grandmother. You know, you not being able to grow up in the household. Give us a you know, paint the picture for us.
I mean, well, as kulelanga gu background obviously. My mom began izinkinga zakhe naye. My grandma naye. Like Begazama, but then it was a great idea to Kulela orphanage home. And then we went there 2007. It was Utulisile Nami and my older brother, so we went there and we were staying there. And actually, it wasn't so bad. We did actually like it, a Mittelbeck Cave Village. The house parents, they actually groomed us and nurtured us. And they, like, without them, I don't think we'd be like Lavante Singabo Manje in terms of respect and, you know, seeing life, you know. Yeah, and then Slele Lapo, and then they actually encouraged us to do sports, Yabona, and it was fun. We did like it. And then throughout our journey, since Yabosa Kalukichimes Tulsile said, we met with our guardian right now, Emmanuel Shepa Mabaso, who's like our dad, favorite, best.
I love how you light up when you talk about Emmanuel Mabaso.
Yes, so he, around 2010, 2011, if I'm not mistaken, was Tata, was guide, our by mentor, and he was like, okay, I do have a club in Kangala Athletics Academy. A look shining, naming trainer, Bantana Bangane, Yabona. A good like is even a future right, Yabon. I sat in a king and I was stand to kitchen, my bella. You can do so yen, so we are schooling business and next. So, Kalana La Pukichima, and then was Gruma. We went to our small meets, and then remember our first cross country was actually 2011, Bega Hostil, Mittelbeck. So it was so fun, and ever since then we've been going to nationals, and
And so fast forward to that, then you go to ETAX in terms of high school. That's where you received a scholarship. You know, so you were studying there, and of course running. That was the beginning of really the change of your lives. As we look at those visuals of you ladies running.
It started there when we received a scholarship at Trust Foundation. That's the those are the people who offered a scholarship for us to study at Taksport High School. So studying there was good because it's not Iluguti Sipalente academics and track, because you cannot be a star on the track and academically, just in case you get an injury or maybe, you know, you lose the passion of love of running. I mean, so yeah, it was a great experience. In Taksport High School, we got to share the track with Kasta Semenya, Akane Simbini, all those great athletes, and we got to see Prudence Sihoris and Sokokana Zazini like excel right in front of our eyes. So we were like, okay, so if they can do it, you know, this is actually the foundation for us to, you know, grow and become who we want to be, just like them. You know?
And then 2018, you matriculate. What happens between then and Monroe, and then now the new Mexico State?
Well, honestly, after matric, I didn't know what thing I but to apply when UP, the other thing, UJ. I mean, I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go. And then, luckily, we had AMA athletes from the tax who went overseas, Trust kind of like help them out with Befundangale. And then we talked to them, and they were like, oh, the US isn't so bad. So I was like, why not? Why not take the leap of faith and we are overseas, we are one with Tigunjani.
Yeah.
And we talked to our guide and Emmanuel and be like, Dad, this is what's happening, and it's now we are interested in going there. So we started, it wasn't fun.
Yeah, hustled until you got to that point.
Munro College kind of like was the first school to kind of be, we want you guys to come. And we're like, yes, on board, yes. Hey, but it was like tough because we had to raise funds to do our visas, flight tickets. Like I remember my dad went on Facebook and writing like, oh, I have these 2 twins, our background, we were in an orphanage, and now we got a scholarship in the US, and we don't have funds. And we posted on Facebook, likely, my fellow South Africans, the lovely people.
Oh, and that is what I love about this country. So maybe just quickly, as we are wrapping up, why aren't you going to be participating in Oregon?
Honestly, there are a lot of setbacks that we've encountered. But then also there was an incident that happened. We were selected, we were part of the world squad, 2017, if I'm not mistaken. It was the World Cross Countries in Uganda. So we qualified, obviously, but then, so when we had to, they were like, okay, so we have to trial. Okay, we were like, fine, but they put us on the track to trial for cross-country. Track long distance is our weakness, I don't want to lie. So we didn't make it. So that's one of the things that really discouraged us to really look at that bigger picture and be like, we want to represent, because there's always those, trial this, try that, which makes sense because you got to prove yourself. But then now that there were a lot of breakthroughs track-wise since we've been in New Mexico, we are looking at the bigger picture and be like, okay, now, because I was part of the regionals team, but I couldn't come back due to my granny's passing. So I was like, okay, so since this year I made the regionals, that means next year I can try and make the regionals again and make the nationals, which is big in the US, So I know when I make the nationals in the US, I'm already part of the national team here in South Africa.
All right. Well, please keep us updated. If you don't, we are going to make sure that we are prying, because we are so proud of your journeys, and we know that there is going to be so much to come from you, both on the academics and, of course, on the track. That was Utulisile Notobile Amon, the track twins from Mpumalanga, right now living their American dream. It is so possible. After the ad break, we talk everything Springboks. Don't miss out on that.
Mense as jy nou nog nie weet nie, né? Jy kyk Fundies.
As jy oor 'n wye algemene kennis beskik, is Fundies net die program vir jou. Daar is baie kontant op die spel. Om 'n audisie af te lê, stuur 'n e-pos aan sabcfundies@gmail.com. Dis sabcfundies@gmail.com. Jy hoef nie net 'n leenstoel fundie vir die TV te wees nie. Kom wys gerus jou slag in die ateljee.
50/50 is back on air on Monday, 4th July 2022 with a brand new season. Join us as we take an in-depth look at the environmental issues that affect us all. Of course, we've also got all the nature, science and wildlife news and views that you need to know about. Save the date and don't miss it. That's 50/50 starting Monday, the 4th of July 2022 at 7 p.m. only on SABC2.
Zola Nene.
I'm Fritz Quinn.
And we are super excited to be returning as judges for Season 3 of the Tastemaster SA.
We're looking for amazing flavors, excellent technique, and incredible bakes.
3, 2, 1, let's bake more memories. Join 12 top South African bakers on their journey to become the ultimate Tastemaster.
That's the Tastemaster SA on Fridays at 7 p.m. on SABC2.
You belong.
Please note that the official date for analog television switch-off is imminent. If you're still watching television through an aerial, please take the following steps to continue watching your favorite programs on the SABC. Buy a digital tuner for your analog TV set and get connected. Buy any digital television decoder, either satellite or digital terrestrial, and get connected. Buy a smart television and connect through an aerial. If you can't afford any of the above, please contact your nearest post office for more information on how to connect. For more information, please WhatsApp 0600 625 458 or call 0860 736 832.
Time flies when you're having fun. And of course, on the show, SportAt10 this evening, we have to talk all things Springboks. The announcement was made yesterday in terms of the team that will take on Wales in the first of 3 tests. That's happening this Saturday from the Loftus Versfeld Stadium, which is why we are joined by the renowned Kanyiso Chwaku, who is the Sport 24 senior sport journalist and, of course, SABC Sport commentator and analyst. First things first, are you happy with the Springbok selection, Enzo coach Jacques Dinaba?
Look, when you look at it, he's picked from what he's had, from what he has, and also there's a balance between ensuring that the test match must be won, and there's also the need to ensure that there's continuity for 2023 onwards. When you look at the likes of El Rakhlo on the bench, Salman Murat, who's played some quietly exceptional rugby for the Stormers. I mean, there has been a massive school of thought of an Evan Ross actually getting a game in this particular series. One would think that should the Springboks wrap up the series after the second test, one would think that Ninap and company mhlawumbe bangacinga benza amatshintsho amaninzana ke kudlala ovavanyo lesithathu xa bengqubana ke Kapa ke kwakule nyanga ezayo. So sake sibone mhlawumbe ke ovuka lo ngomgqibelo neqela abatyumbile sikhumula uba Peter Steph Dutoy wonzakele kwanyanzelisa uba ke uFranco Mostert abelapha ke icaleni ke ngoba beyifollows ke naye kodwa ukhumbule umsekhona kumkhokheli sekolisi naxa ujonga nasezijixweni ukhona uLodiaga ukhona iEbenetsebeth ukhumbule iEbenetsebeth lokwana sileqa ke nekhulu ke lemidlalo ikhulu ke lemidlalo ovavanyo. So they've mixed and matched very well. When you also look at the front row in particular, so look, I mean, it's probably the best squad available. It's Elton starting at 10 ahead of Andre Pollard. Again, one would ask, why is he there?
Yes, because a lot of people are saying, you know, his inclusion. Is it something that was sinister in terms of him not being included, Andre Pollard?
Not at all. One needs to remember that Andre Pollard was actually involved in a high-intensity French top 14 final for Montpellier when they beat Castres on Friday. And he came off the bench, but still, you can't have someone. It becomes very tricky to have someone who was playing in a very intense, high-octane Rugby Cup final, then uzomthatha ufaka kwi-test match kwivekela la engahlelanga neqela eliziveki ezininzi ke zigqithileyo. uElton ke bekhe unomonzakalo olulamele kulo monzakalo ngoku and he's been part of the squad setup, so bekunyanzelekile ukubana akhanike ithuba akaqale kuba kwa-Elton yena ke ungumdlali ongafana lifumane ke ithuba ba akaqala ke nokwana akaqhame ke baleni, so ulifumene ke ithuba masithemba imozulu ke izawuvuma ngomgqibelo yekuba kudala kubanda ke kweli Gauteng ke. The weather hasn't been great from a temperature perspective, but I mean, look, if the guys at 5:10 on Saturday afternoon, it's still cold, but it's dry, the field is hard. Look, it's going to be a great day of rugby for them. I mean, it is I won't call it a monumental day, but remember, it will be the first test match in South Africa that will be having fans. I mean, the Blue Bulls Rugby Company have been pumping the socials by sold out signs up.
50,000, yeah.
Exactly. I mean, look, I think the build-up through EURC in terms of crowds was very nice, in that Loftus had a very big crowd in, especially when they realized that it pulls Zendweni with regards to a playoff, and then when they actually beat the Sharks, they filled out as the capacity Disaster Management Act. Same thing happened with the Stormers. They hosted 3 consecutive playoffs, and you could see by the time that there was a lot of upset souls. So they may have missed out on the URC final, but they'll be hosting the third test, so we've left 5,000 as a Cape Town City.
Absolutely. And also we look at a Wales team that has not won on South African soil, in terms of their past 10 matches. It doesn't mean that the Springboks should be undermining this team and taking them lightly.
No. Jacques has made it clear. We made it clear in a meet and greet last week. He's made it clear in other virtual press conferences. You don't want to find yourself in a position where you look at the fact that your Ospreys, your Dragons, your Scarlets did not distinguish themselves very well in the RC. None of them actually made the quarterfinals. If you look at that, remember you had two Scottish teams, you had the three Irish sides, and then you had the 3 South African sides. They gave the tournament the life that it deserved from the playoff stages. But as Deon David said in another press engagement, Emma Melody, where they were handling with the CSI engagement, also explained that they may have an opportunity to rest, but how you utilize Pumla, are you utilizing that Pumla actively or passively? Are you actively preparing for a test match? Are you actively preparing for a series? Because the Bok players may come out of these high-intensity matches with a fair bit of momentum, saying, you know what, we'll look at Lemidlalo as another 3 cup finals. We're already off a very successful and an unexpectedly successful stream. Yeah, URC. So, from URC.
The past few matches have been very tightly contested. What's your prediction in terms of Saturday? Who's walking away with the victory?
Very tricky, because Loftus has not always been friendly for Wales. 1998, they took quite a backslide, 96-13. Peter Hendricks, who's now a first-team coach at Paul Gymnasium, he scored a hat-trick. The Percy Montgomery they scored 2 tries. But look, I mean, they haven't won in 10 tests here, but in Nelspruit, in Mbombela in 2014, they made some heart palpitations go around the country. JB Peterson had to salvage that particular game with a last-minute try. So look, it's going to be interesting to see which kind of Wales rocks up. I mean, they've also had their selection issues where a lot of the Wales media have complained that why was Jack Morgan left out? He was excellent for Wales. But I remember Sekolis one speaking about Utain Basham after they won in Cardiff for the first time since 2013, in 2012, where they said that, hey, Utain Basham, is a very good player. But look, Wales have been able to hold South Africa outside of World Cup matches, especially in Cardiff, but in matches that have counted. They lost in the World Cup in 2015 and in 2019. So, and also everyone in South Africa. But it's going to be a different test match there on Saturday.
You haven't still given me a prediction, but it's okay. It's okay. Let me let you go. Truly a rugby encyclopedia when it comes to Okhanyi Sochwako. Thank you so much for your time. Remember that Wales will be making their squad announcement tomorrow, and that test is happening on Saturday from Loftus Versfeld. 5:05 is the kickoff, and obviously we cannot wait for it. 50,000 fans are going to be in the stadium after the ad break. Who brings a knife to a gunfight? Burgundy Reigns is going to let us know.
The lights come on and flash.
What they need most of all, Jenny, is some luck.
And action got underway, but look at this card. It's a very different and challenging role.
Oh! Taylor's rolled!
W Series, the world's first female-only racing series.
This time, it supports the global circus of Formula One.
And we go green, very good start. Rines goes to the inside too. It's a historic day for Porsche as they take their first Formula E win.
SABC Sport commemorates Youth Month by standing up for what they believed. The youth of 76 made it possible for us to find ourselves united on the playing field.
It's their first time playing at this level. It's their first time playing as a group.
They've shown they can cause problems. Continue. Is that right? Bruno, the show goes on.
SABC Sport wants to build today's youth.
They do have the support of the country.
Through sports, You can hashtag shape your future. Be who you want to be. Be what you want to be. Be iconic.
Lovely season, and what a fantastic result it is.
Celebrate Youth Month with us. Don't miss a moment of all the live action on SABC Sport for the love of the game.
Tune in and stay entertained with our sports shows on SABC Sport. Keep up with the best sports entertainment brought to you by SABC Sport.
For the love of the game.
Took aim, now I'm taking flight. Broke my heart again, but it's alright. The young nigga brought a knife to a gunfight. Yo, my castle burned overnight. Nigga took aim, now I'm taking flight. Broke my heart again, but it's alright. The young nigga brought a knife to a gunfight. Yo, my castle burned overnight. Nigga took aim, now I'm taking flight. Broke my heart again, but it's alright. The young nigga brought a knife to a gunfight. The hate was real, daddy, so they trying to drown me. They took away my crown, now they trying to clown me. Shots to the brain, now they try and crown me. Pray you in heaven and hope you find me. Suicidal thoughts led me to this music, now I'm bleeding bars. These rap skills and just skills, it just really scars. Music and depression equals talent these days. So we sipping on the lean to take the pain away. The pressure, the money, the flow, and wearing my heart on my sleeve. No more gave my heart to a fool, yeah I know. It's rolling blood on the flow, mama don't recognize me, she don't know. The love got me doing crazy things. Francesina said we want the whole thing. Guns aimed, yeah we fire. You may have broken my heart, but feel it taking my desire. My castle burned overnight. Nigga took aim, now I'm taking flight. Broke my heart again, but it's alright. The young nigga brought a knife to a gunfight. Yo, my castle burned overnight. Nigga took aim, now I'm taking flight. Broke my heart again, but it's alright. The young nigga brought a knife to a gunfight. Yo, my castle burned overnight. Nigga took aim, now I'm taking flight.
Burgundy Rains, all the way from El Dorado Park. What a fire song inspiration between. I mean, how do you come up with a song like this?
Well, it's just trials and tribulations in life, you know.
Yeah.
So it was a situation where most people underestimated what I could do as a person. And I just realized these people are literally bringing a knife to a gunfight with me.
Because you've got ammo.
Yes.
And also what a lot of people don't know actually about Burgundy Rains is that you work right here at the SABC. Tell us about how big of a hustler you are.
Well, I do so many things. So I'm a sound operator here at the SABC. So every opportunity that I get, I just nail it. The music as well is like the greatest passion I have. So sound is also a great passion. I love working with you guys too.
Oh, we love working with you. There's an EP that's going to be coming out very soon. Maybe tell us about the features that you're going to have.
Well, for now, it's a secret. Let's keep it
that.
like that. So for now, we're just pushing Knife to a Gunfight to the max.
Okay.
So we just want to get all the views up and people to just vibe with us and actually feel the rhythm of, you know, the track itself.
But who is this person? Good. Guys, people at home, you guys don't understand why I'm this shocked. This person, every week on the show, she's always doing our sound and she's always so kind and chill. Suddenly, Knife to a Gunfight. This one. Lady, South Africa, introducing to you, Bona.
Burgundy Rains, absolutely incredible. You know, and for you to also be on the stage as we wrap up Youth Month is just incredible. We wish you all the best in your journey. Please don't forget us and continue to mic us up. This was, of course, Burgundy Rains, who brings a knife to a gunfight, you know. And in terms of everyone that came through today on the show, thank you so much for giving us your time. Shampunizer, you've been incredible as always. Guys, if you're not watching Sport at 10, what are you doing?
Friday Night Fights presented by Miller High Life, and we're at the Foxwoods Casino for an old school brawl.